AG Sports. It's in the game. And it's Friday. Fine and sorry, I had to stop myself from cussing there. It's Friday. Guys, this week has either gone by really, really slow or really, really fast, depending on what angle you're on here. And football is just flying through, man. It is week 6 already. We're like a third of the way through the season now. Fantasy's like in mid-season form, which, by the way, and I know none of you probably give a shit, but like I have a fantasy team where I have Darrell Henderson, Stafford, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, just studs all over the place. That particular league is 0-5. I have no idea how the hell I did that. About to bench all their asses. But anyways, let's get to what you're here for. I do have some new picks for you guys. I know I usually keep it, about 5 or 6 picks or so, and I think we're already at about that mark. But this is the week, like I've been saying, this is kind of the turning point. This is when all the algorithms start hitting on everything. And from here on out, it's not so much of, okay, do we know something about the team or not? Barring injury, we should have a pretty good feel on most of these teams by now, or at least know which teams we are good at looking at. But more importantly, it's about beating the numbers, beating the lines, because when I see something that I like and it's good, it's going to be out there, or hear something, whether it's from podcasts, other bettors, whatever, odds are other people are on that same pick. And what we end up having to compete with is not so much the bookmaker that makes the lines, but the other gamblers out there that are trying to bang these same lines that end up driving them way up or way down and juicing all the value out of it. So let's get started. The first one that I really like here, Vikings Panthers under for the first half. Earlier in the week, I gave out the Panthers as the money line pick for this, and I still stand by that. So if you haven't already bet the Panthers as your money line pick, just do it now. They're like a 1-point dog, so there's really no point in taking the 1 point. I mean, it's not going to do much for you. You might as well just take the money line, and depending on where you're at, and a lot of places are offering like plus 110 right now, plus 105, something like that. Go ahead and grab that line. I've already recapped that one, but at the end of the day here, I just think the Panthers have a better offense. Really, all that they're going to be asking Sam Darnold in this one is, hey, don't go out there and mess it up the way you messed up the last few games. We're going to call a pretty simple offense. Hopefully Christian McCaffrey is back to take off some of that weight. But even if he's not, I think the Panthers still win this game. The other angle that I had on this one, and the initial angle as to why I was looking at this, is the Vikings are 0-16-1 when they play against a team that has a winning record that is outdoors. The Vikings just do not perform well outdoors for whatever reason, and that's individual players as well as the entire team. Justin Jefferson, if you look at his spreads between in a dome or outdoors, not that he's not good, he just does not live up to expectation outdoors. Same thing with Dalvin Cook. Same thing with Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I call him what's his face. Anyways, I'm just saying these guys, for whatever reason, don't perform well. And like I said earlier, if you've been watching the videos for a little while, I can't tell you why. I can speculate. I can say maybe it's like a turf thing. Maybe their cleats aren't grabbing in as much. Running teams depend on their linemen to get a better push. Maybe the turf is interfering. I have no idea. I'm just totally pulling shit out of my ass with that. But I'm just saying that's possible. But at the end of the day, the fact is they just don't perform as well outdoors. And for that reason, I picked the Panthers to win. As far as the first half total, both of these teams are running teams, and they want to run, and they want to get the ball out of their quarterback's hands. More so for the Panthers, they just don't trust Sam Darnold as much as they did maybe to begin the season when they were playing a bunch of nobodies. And for all those reasons, they're going to start off pretty ground heavy. There's going to be passing, obviously, and everybody's going to end up passing at some point, but if they can establish a run, which I hate saying, they're going to try to do that. And usually those first half drives are a lot slower. They're a lot more methodical. Both of these teams like to play a slow pace. And if they are behind is the only time you'll really see either one of these teams try to maybe, get a little kick in the ass and go faster. For the most part, they're going to run, short pass, run again. And that's kind of their game plans. And in the fourth quarter, again, they might get more aggressive, or even in the second half, they may just get more aggressive. They may be calling more shots downfield, especially if one or the other is losing. But that first half, I just expect to be very slow. Regardless of who's winning or losing, I think it's going to be very slow. I don't think it's going to get out of hand. And so the other team that is losing is not going to feel forced or pressured to have to pass the ball. So under 23 is where I got it at. I'm not saying you have to go buy that hook, especially if it's going to cost more than like 130. I'm not going to do it. But if you can, I would try to get the under 23. If not, the under 22.5 is just fine as well. But again, that's the official pick here on the line, and I believe there are other books. This is mybookie.ag that we're looking at here, but I believe Bookmaker and maybe Bovada still have it at the under 23, so that's always good. Aside from that, let me take a look at the full game lines, because there are some other games here that I wanted to show you. And again, all of my bets for this week have already been placed, so I apologize, guys, if some of these lines are moving right now, or they have moved a little bit since I've bet them. But I'll give you what I got, and then as far as where if there's still value in the line or not. As far as the next pick, though, I have the Bengals Lions, and it's going to actually be an under. So right now it is at 47. Unfortunately, when I got it, it was at 48. 47 is a key number. So if you wanted to buy it up to the 47.5, I would definitely look into doing that. But another way to play this one is to just do a tease. And I know a lot of people don't like to tease numbers with totals. The math behind that is just saying that, hey, look, certain numbers and totals don't hit as consistently as like a 3 or a 7 do when it comes to sides. And while that is true, the fact of the matter is 51 and 47 still hit more often than any other number, within kind of the general vicinity of those numbers. Like 51's hitting more than 50, 47's hitting more than 46, stuff like that. If you can tease this number up, and you would be teasing it to 53, the one that I personally would associate with that, there's a second leg of that, is the Texans Colts over. So if you are looking at the picks, we already got the Texans Colts under 44. And I still stand by that, and I actually have the game capped relatively low. I really think probably 34 is a good... I could see this number hitting 34. So again, don't run to bet this one if you don't agree with it, but I just wanted to tell you kind of where my mind is at with this tease here. So one, it is a great hedge opportunity as far as being able to middle. And whenever I say hedge, guys, please don't take that as, hey, I don't like this pick anymore, or I'm scared off it, or anything. It's exactly that. We're trying to middle something. Every week, if I can get a pick where if you're betting one unit on one side and one unit on the other side, you're only risking, I should say, the vig. So if you're betting minus 110, then you're betting a tenth of a unit, because at the end of the day, one of those is going to hit, right? So one of them has to hit. So you're betting a tenth of a unit, or you're risking, I should say, well, really 2/10 of a unit, because you're going to hit the 110 on both sides. So you're risking 2/10 of a unit, but you were trying to hit basically a double payday. So you're wagering that to hit a double payday, which, again, if you can do it, and the weeks that present the opportunity, it is a plus EV move. Again, if nothing else, you're going to at least hedge against the other bet, so you're not going to be losing. You're not losing 2 units for this bet. At most, you're only going to lose one side. In this particular situation, the way I have this capped, again, I do have the under 44. As I started digging into the numbers, and I had a video on this earlier, I believe that the Colts are going to be able to run very effectively over the Texans. And as we saw last week in the Chargers-Browns game, when I say run effectively, to me, that usually means a slow game, slower paced game. Both sides are going to, keep it on the ground, keep it very, by the book, and just they're going to try and milk the clock and all that kind of stuff. The clock's going to keep running. It should be a low-scoring game. The caveat to that, and what worries me about this, is the same exact thing that happened last week with the Browns and Chargers. If a team is running so effectively that they are consistently getting these chunk gains where they're getting like 20 yards, 30 yards, 25 yards, just over and over and over again, what'll happen is they're going to start scoring eventually, and especially if a team is, quote-unquote desperate, like the Texans or the Colts, they're going to pull out every trick that they can to score and keep the game going and get this win. And the Colts, like I said, this is a big drop-off for them as far as competition level is concerned. This is the kind of where their schedule starts to lighten up. They are on short rest, but I don't think that's going to really impact them too much here. I think they're still going to be just fine, and they'll be able to score. They're going to be able to run over the Texans. And on top of that, you may not have heard that the Texans have not blitzed on a third down yet this year. And that's not like a maybe kind of, I think, no, they have not sent one blitz on third down at all this entire season, which means that Carson Wentz is going to have some time back there. He's going to be able to pick these guys apart. It has just been, he's had a tough schedule. He's had a lot of tough defenses. They don't have the best receivers. And because of that, everything has been kept kind of slower scoring, and he has not really gotten into a groove yet. I do believe this is a game where he's going to show us that he still is a good quarterback. He's still a starting quarterback. And I think he's going to be able to rely on Jonathan Taylor to run over people. I think the Texans will be forced to throw some more. And if guys like Darius Leonard from the Colts are not at 100%, they're going to be able to score as well. And again, while I can still see this game staying under and maybe hitting like 34 or so, I do believe it is worth the shot to middle on this. And again, I took the tease. Now, on I took the tease, it was a little bit lower. I believe it's been bet up. Let me just grab this for you. 1 second. Yeah, it's already come up. This is the 40. It's at 43.5 right now. So, just to give you a breakdown on how this total has moved this week, when we bet it earlier in the week, it was at 44. We bet the under. It actually went all the way down to 42. At 42, we saw some buyback, and it has now come all the way back up to 43.5. And I think it's probably not going to move too much further off of this. You could wait if you wanted to, but I think if anything, it might be going back up to 44, just because there's been some money already coming in that way, and a lot of people will just kind of follow that steam. So if you wanted to tease this one, I would still look into it, but just know you're getting 37.5 right now instead of just like a 37. But if you don't want to do that, I do also like just the Bengals Lions to be under, and I would even take it at 47.5 and just buy the hook on this one. So those are the extra picks, guys. If you do have any questions or any concerns about your picks or something that you want to bring to the class here, let us know what you're picking. Please feel free to do so. At least I'm very interested. Just leave it in the comments below. Somebody had asked, and actually just I wanted to mention this. So the Bengals-Lions game, as far as just like a straight pick, I do have the Bengals winning this game. I actually have it capped at about a 10-point game. I have it being 24 to 14 at the end of the game here. So I have it as a pretty low-scoring game, hence why I'm liking the under. I do like to kind of get off this key number, though, and the reason for that is obviously the Lions could try to backdoor something. And I really think that that's probably your biggest concern here if you are taking these 3s or 3.5, is that the Lions get crazy like they have been. They try to pass, very heavily in the end of the fourth quarter. They're down by 10. The Bengals don't really care. They're just trying to milk the clock. And we've seen this story, guys. We see it every week with the Lions. They're down. They're not doing anything. Run. And Dan Campbell finally says, oh, shit. We're down 700 points in the fourth quarter. We should probably throw the ball. And they start throwing it. And then, so everybody's surprised. They're able to move the ball a little bit. And then they score. And so that's what my concern would be. If that scenario does play out, I mean, you got to imagine the Lions get another touchdown. And it's possible the Bengals have to go for another field goal. Not that they would have to do it, but that they would do it just to keep that cushion, kind of keep their foot on the gas a little bit. And if that's the case, then you are looking at like a 47-point total. Aside from that, then you're also going to be concerned with the spread here as a 3.5 points. So I'm not touching the spread, or the side, I should say, only because of that backdoor possibility. But if you like the Bengals, especially if you can get the -3 instead of the 3.5, I would be fine with that one as well. But that won't be on my official picks. I just wanted to kind of put that out there and where I have this game capped at. But again, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate the support, guys. Speak with you again on Monday. And good luck to everybody this weekend. Let's get some money. Let's take this week back and keep moving forward. Thanks.